If you're watching or reading this right now, I'm here to tell you one thing. Hell is real. Not as some distant idea or a metaphor, but a place of real torment. I know because I went there. I've seen it, felt it, and experienced it in a way I can never fully put into words. My hope in sharing this testimony is that it will help you see that no matter how far you think you've fallen, God is reaching out to pull you up, just like He did for me. I grew up in a Christian home. My parents raised me with the knowledge of God, and as a child, I was sensitive to the things of the Spirit. I could feel God's presence with me. I remember seeing angels, even at a young age. It wasn't something I imagined. God was with me. It made me feel safe, knowing He was there. But as life went on, I drifted far from that sense of peace. Let me take you back to when my life began to spiral. After high school, I enlisted in the Army. Like many young men, I was searching for purpose, for something to make me feel like I mattered. The Army seemed like a good way to find that, but it wasn't long before things fell apart. I got married, but the marriage didn't last. Then my military career started to unravel. My superiors constantly told me I wasn't measuring up. "You're not doing your job," they'd say. "You're never going to make the next rank." The pressure got to me, and I cracked. Instead of facing my problems, I decided to run from them. I went AWOL, absent without leave. I hitchhiked from Virginia to Ohio, hoping to find some escape from the chaos in my head. I reconnected with an old friend, and that's when I started to lose control. For 2 weeks, I went on a drug binge. It was my way of numbing the pain, drowning out the voices telling me I wasn't enough. But the more I used, the deeper I fell into darkness. One night, I found myself in a crack house in Columbus, Ohio, one of the worst places you could imagine. The air was thick with the smell of crack cocaine and marijuana. People were sprawled out on the floor, completely lost in their high. I joined them. I smoked crack, drank alcohol, and took any drug that was offered to me. But it was the last pill, the Valium, that sent me on a journey I'll never forget. I took that Valium, and within minutes, I fell off the couch onto the floor. That's when it all changed. Suddenly, everything went pitch black. It felt like my soul was being pulled down into a deep pit. I started shaking uncontrollably, and I could feel myself descending, faster and faster, into a place I knew I didn't want to go. The stench hit me first. It was like nothing I'd ever smelled before, a rotten, burning odor that made me sick to my stomach. I had heard stories about hell growing up, but nothing could have prepared me for what I was experiencing. The smell, the darkness, the terror, it was all consuming. I was in hell. It wasn't just a feeling. I saw it. I saw the flames, and I saw the souls trapped there, lost with no hope of ever escaping. They were crying out for help, begging for another chance, but there was no way out. I saw them reaching for something, anything, but the fire held them captive. They were tormented, and the agony on their faces was something I can never forget. Then the voices started. "We've got you. You belong to us now." The demons were mocking me, pulling at me, tugging at my soul. I could feel their grip tightening, and I knew they were right. I had made choices that led me here, and now I was theirs. In that moment of despair, I remembered the name that I had grown up hearing, the name that could save me, even in the darkest of places. "Jesus," I cried. "Help me, Jesus. Please help me." The moment I spoke His name, everything changed. In the middle of the chaos, I felt a powerful force, a hand grabbing hold of me. It was the hand of God, pulling me out of that pit of darkness. I was snatched out of hell, and I felt my spirit returning to my body. I opened my eyes, shaking and trembling. I had been lying there on the floor for what felt like an eternity. When I turned my head, the people around me said I had been dead for 30 to 35 minutes. But what they didn't know was that in those 30 minutes, I had faced hell. I had seen what awaits those who turn from God's, but I had also seen the overwhelming grace of a God who loves us enough to pull us back, even from the depths of hell. I knew right then that I had been given a second chance. God didn't leave me in that place of torment, even though I deserved it. He reached down into the pit and saved me because He still had a purpose for my life. 3 days later, I went back to Font Eustis, Virginia to face the consequences of going AWOL. I was demoted and confined to the barracks for a month. That month of confinement was the best thing that could have happened to me. It gave me time to think, time to pray, time to truly surrender my life to Jesus. I got down on my knees and asked the Lord to forgive me. I repented for the life I had been living, the drugs, the rebellion, the running. I turned it all over to Him, and for the first time in years, I felt peace. I knew that God had a plan for me, and from that moment on, I was determined to follow Him. Since then, my life has completely changed. I'm married again, and my mission now is to tell as many people as I can about the reality of heaven and hell. I'm here to tell you that God is real, hell is real, and heaven is real. I don't want anyone to experience what I did in hell, but I also know that we serve a God who is full of love, grace, and mercy. If you're willing to turn to Him, He'll forgive you, just like He forgave me. I'm living proof that God gives second chances. He pulled me out of the fire and set my feet on solid ground. And now my purpose is clear: to spread the message that Jesus saves. He's the only way to escape the torment of hell. If you're far from Him, don't wait until it's too late. Call on His name, and He will answer. Thank you for taking the time to listen to my story. If this testimony has touched your heart, please share it with others. And if you're searching for hope, know that Jesus is the answer.